The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for 300 years, its name a synonym for fear. Its star destroyers, towering warships as big as mountains, glided through space like sharks, hunting planets that dared to resist. Empires, democracies, alien kingdoms, all fell to the Empire's iron grip. Worlds that obeyed were taxed until they starved. Those that fought back were erased. But Earth? Earth was different. The Empire's scouts had studied the blue-green planet for weeks. No shields, no weapons, primitive, they reported. Earth's tallest buildings scraped the sky like toothpicks. Its armies flew planes that sputtered with propellers. Its leaders bickered over borders while ignoring the stars. To the Empire, Earth was a joke, a speck of dirt orbiting a weak sun. Emperor Varkos IV, a tyrant with scales like black glass and a voice that made moons tremble, called it a mud ball with delusions. He ordered its conquest not for resources or strategy, but for entertainment. The Empire's latest weapon wasn't a ship or a bomb, it was fear. Every week the galaxy watched live broadcasts of rebellious planets being crushed. A child hanged on a moon? Trending? A queen forced to kneel as her palace burned? Viral. The Empire's viewers, aliens with tentacles, cyborgs, slavers, and warlords, ate it up like candy. So when Emperor Varkos announced Earth's invasion would air live, the galaxy buzzed. "What's Earth?" aliens asked. "Who cares?" Others shrugged, but billions tuned in anyway, clutching popcorn and plasma drinks. Then the ships came. They arrived at dawn over New York City, blotting out the sun. 100 Imperial dropships screamed down, their bellies spitting fire. Buildings melted like wax. Streets cracked. People ran, screaming as tanks rolled out. Square, ugly machines with plasma cannons that turned cars into molten slag. Soldiers in black armor marched in lockstep, their helmets glowing red like demonic eyes. They didn't shoot to kill. Not yet. They shot to hurt. A woman tried to shield her baby. A laser seared her arm. A man lunged at a soldier. His leg exploded. The message was clear: obey or suffer. But the galaxy wasn't watching the chaos. They were watching her. Lila Chen was 17. She lived in Queens with her parents, both scientists who spent their days arguing about quantum physics and their nights worrying about rent. Lila wasn't a hero. She liked drawing comics, texting her best friend, and arguing with her older brother about whether aliens existed. "They're out there," she'd say, "but they're probably too busy being jerks to visit." When the invasion started, she hid in a basement with her mom and dad, clutching a sketchpad filled with dragons and spaceships. But hiding didn't work. The soldiers found her. They kicked down the basement door, dragging her parents out first. Her dad screamed, "She's just a kid!" before a soldier slammed his rifle into his ribs. Her mom sobbed as she was shoved into a truck. Lila fought, kicking and biting, but they stunned her with a shock baton. When she woke up, she was on a stage, not a real stage. A platform built from rubble in the middle of Central Park, now a smoldering crater. The trees were gone. The grass was ash. Above her, a holographic screen flickered. The Empire's logo, a fist crushing a planet. Behind her, a line of soldiers stood like statues, and in front of her, cameras. Dozens of them, floating on drones, zooming in on her face. "Earthlings," boomed a voice from the sky. Emperor Varkos himself, his face projected on every screen in the galaxy. "Your defiance amuses us. Today you learn obedience." Lila's wrists were bound. Her hair was matted with soot. Her left eye swelled shut from the arrest. But when she looked at the nearest camera, she grinned. The soldier next to her, General Krell, a hulking beast with horns and a voice like a chainsaw, stepped forward. "This child dared to resist," he snarled. "She will die, and you will watch." The crowd in the park, what was left of New York's survivors, gasped. Somewhere, a baby cried. Lila tilted her chin up. "You're wrong," she said. Krell blinked. "What?" "You heard me." Her voice was steady, loud enough for the microphones to catch. "You think killing me will make us kneel, but it won't." The audience across the galaxy leaned in. A tentacled alien sipped his drink mid-sip. A cyborg paused his game. The Emperor's viewers chattered. "What's this? Is the girl talking? Back?" Krell laughed, a sound like boulders grinding. "You think your words matter?" He raised his blaster, a sleek pistol that could vaporize a skull in a second. "Pray for mercy, insect." "Not today," Lila said. The shot rang out. The galaxy watched in silence as the bullet tore through her chest. Her body jerked. Blood bloomed across her shirt. She fell backward, her hair fanning out like ink and water. The crowd screamed. Somewhere, a man vomited. On the holoscreens, Lila's face lingered in close-up. Her eyes open, her lips parted, the ghost of a smirk still on her face. "Pathetic," Emperor Varkos sneered. "Earth will kneel." The feed cut, but not before something strange happened. For a split second, Lila's body glowed. Not bright, just warm, like sunlight through a window. And in that instant, every camera on Earth and across the galaxy showed not her corpse, but a symbol. A simple phrase etched in gold light. "You're wrong." The feed died. In the Empire's war room, technicians scrambled. "Was that a glitch?" one asked. "No," another muttered. "That wasn't us." On Earth, survivors stared at their dead phones and cracked tablets, the words still burning in their minds. "You're wrong." In a bunker miles away, Lila's brother Kai watched the broadcast, his fists shaking. He wasn't a fighter. He was a programmer, a geek who'd never thrown a punch. But as he stared at Lila's face frozen on the screen, he whispered, "No, she's right." He opened his laptop, and somewhere deep in the dark between stars, something ancient stirred. The galaxy didn't mourn Lila Chen. It panicked. Across the Empire's vast network of holoscreens, viewers replayed the broadcast in loops. A child's death, routine. A glowing corpse, unheard of. In the slums of Tatkar Prime, a warlord smashed his display in rage. "Witchcraft," he roared. On a luxury cruiser orbiting Neptune, a cyborg gambler paused mid-hand, staring at the frozen image of Lila's body. "That's not possible," he muttered. Even Emperor Varkos's advisors flinched when the Emperor bellowed, "What was that light?" But on Earth, survivors didn't ask questions. They felt it. In the ruins of New York, a woman named Priya Patel pressed a trembling hand to her cracked phone. The screen flickered, Lila's face still burned into its pixels. The words glowed, faintly. "You're wrong. Priya had been a teacher once before the invasion. Now she was a refugee, hiding in a subway tunnel with a dozen others." "She's not gone," Priya whispered. A teenager beside her, blood crusted on his forehead, blinked. "What?" Priya turned the phone to show him the message. "She's fighting back." Meanwhile, the Empire scrambled. General Krell stood in a command center carved from the bones of a fallen skyscraper. His horns twitched as reports poured. "And rebels in Chicago took out a patrol. A hacker in Berlin hijacked our comms. Farmers in Kansas ambushed a drone squad." Krell snarled. "How? They're animals with sticks." But his aide, a pale-faced officer named Vex, hesitated. "They're organized. Too fast. Like they've known this would happen." Krell's claws dug into the table. "Find the signal. Kill it." He didn't know it yet, but the signal was already everywhere. Kai Chen hadn't slept in 2 days. His sister's face haunted him. Her smirk, her blood, the way she'd whispered, "You're wrong." Now, in a damp bunker beneath Mount Rushmore, Kai hunched over a laptop, wires snaking from its ports like veins. He wasn't alone. Around him, a ragtag crew of coders, mechanics, and ex-soldiers scavenged for parts. A woman in a grease-stained lab coat slammed a keyboard. "Got a feed into their network," she said. "We can jam their broadcasts." A teen hacker grinned. "Better. We can replace them." Kai's hands shook as he opened a video editor. He uploaded Lila's final moments, the gunshot, the glow, the golden words. Then he added music. a haunting melody his sister had hummed while drawing dragons. He typed a caption. She was right. He hit send. Within seconds, the Empire's holoscreens glitched. Millions of aliens blinked as Lila's face filled their displays. Her voice, soft but clear, whispered, "They think we're weak. Let's show them." The screen faded to black, then bloomed with a map of the galaxy. Red dots pulsed where rebel groups stirred. The message lingered. "You're wrong." The Empire's viewers screamed. The feed cut. On Coruscant, Emperor Varkos nearly crushed his throne. "Trace it," he roared. "Bomb the source." His generals scrambled, but Naira, the silver-skinned strategist, stood still. Her neural implants hummed, analyzing data. "It's spreading," she said quietly. "The signal's not from one place, it's everywhere." Varkos's eyes glowed. "Wipe the planet." Naira's head tilted. "Too late. The girl's face is in our systems. Our soldiers are watching it instead of fighting." She pulled up a feed. An Imperial squad in Moscow, their helmets flickering with Lila's image. One soldier dropped his rifle. "This isn't right," he muttered. Another punched his comrade for aiming at a child. Naira turned to Varkos. "We've lost control of the narrative." The Emperor lunged at her. "Crush them." But outside, his palace, a crowd gathered. Earth's rebellion wasn't just in bunkers, it was in streets, farms, and skies. In Nairobi, a nurse named Amina hacked an Imperial med drone, reprogramming it to drop grenades on enemy tanks. In Sydney, a group of teens used stolen alien tech to build a jammer, blinding the Empire's satellites. In the Himalayas, monks welded armor onto bulldozers, turning them into tanks. And in New York, Priya Patel led a group of survivors into a ruined subway station. "We're not hiding anymore," she said. "We fight." They found weapons in the rubble. Old guns, yes, but also something stranger. A teenager named Marcus held up a metal rod that crackled with blue light. "My dad made this," he said. "Said it was for emergencies." Priya touched it. The air buzzed. "Let's go," she said. The Empire's first mistake? Underestimating grief. Their second? Bombing a school. A squadron of dropships descended on Lila's high school in Queens, vaporizing the building in a hail of fire. But the pilots didn't. No, the basement was still full of students. When the smoke cleared, a boy named Ethan crawled out, his shirt torn, his eyes red. In his hands, he clutched Lila's sketchpad, still intact, its dragons and spaceships singed but legible. He flipped to the last page. It showed a dragon coiled around a planet, its wings shielding it from a swarm of bees. Below, Lila had scribbled, "Even the smallest fire can light the dark." Ethan stood up. He didn't cry. He walked to a nearby rooftop, held the sketchpad high, and shouted until survivors gathered. "We're the fire," he said. Kai watched it all unfold. His laptop pinged with updates. Rebels in Peru hijacked a star destroyer. A scientist in Tokyo reverse-engineered alien plasma tech. A farmer in Kenya used a crop duster to drop Molotovs on an Imperial base. Kai's fingers flew across the keyboard. He hacked the Empire's weather satellites, redirecting storms to drown their camps. He rewrote their maps, leading soldiers into traps, and always Lila's face appeared. On walls, screens, even the Empire's own broadcasts. The phrase mutated like a virus. "You're wrong." She was right. "You're finished." General Krell found himself cornered in a bunker near the Amazon. His troops were deserting. A young soldier pointed a gun at him. "I have a daughter," the man growled. "I won't let you kill another kid." Krell laughed, but it died when the soldier pulled the trigger. Emperor Varkos declared Earth a quarantine zone. Too late. Lila's face appeared on a holoscreen above Coruscant's capital. The crowd gasped. A rebel ship dropped from the clouds, its hull painted with, "You're wrong." In glowing letters, fighters poured out, tearing through the Empire's fleet. On the ground, riots erupted. Slaves tore off collars. Aliens chanted the phrase, twisting it into a war cry. Naira watched it all from the shadows. She sent a final message to Earth. We surrender. But Kai's reply was colder than space. No, you kneel. Years later, historians would call it the spark, not a weapon, not a battle, a moment. The split second when Lila Chen's death became more powerful than the Empire's fleets. When fear turned to fury and fury lit the stars. On Earth, a statue rose in Central Park. A girl with a smirk, a sketch pad, and a glowing heart. Below it, the words, "You're wrong." And across the galaxy, rebels whispered her name like a prayer. The Galactic Empire's war room buzzed like a dying hive. Hollow screens flickered with disaster. Rebel flags on conquered worlds, hacked Imperial broadcasts, and the same face staring from every corner of the galaxy, Lila Chen's. Her smirk, her blood, her words. You're wrong. Emperor Varkos paced, his scaled tail lashing. Erase her, he barked. Delete every copy of that video. Bomb the planet until it's dust. Across the room, General Krell's horns glowed, red with rage. We crush them, he growled. We bomb their cities. We burn their forests. Silence, Naira interrupted. The silver-skinned strategist stood still, her neural implants humming. Data streamed behind her eyes. Battle reports, rebel movements, the pulse of a dying empire. They're not afraid of us anymore, she said quietly. And we've lost the galaxy. Varkos spun on her. You dare speak defeat? Nira met his glare. The girl's death lit a fire. Every rebel cell uses her face. Every hollow screen shows her message. Even our soldiers whisper it in their sleep. She paused. We've tried fear. It failed. Now we must choose. Retreat or fall, Krell snarled. You'd let a child destroy us? She didn't, Naira said. We did. On Earth, the fire spread. In Nairobi, Amina's med drone dropped its last grenade on an Imperial tank, melting its turret. That's all we've got, she muttered, ducking behind rubble as laser fire scorched the air. Beside her, a teenager named Marcus held up a glowing metal rod, the weapon Priya had found weeks ago. Let's try this, he said. He jabbed the rod into the ground. Blue light erupted, sending a shockwave that toppled 2 more tanks. Soldiers screamed as their armor shorted out. It works, Amina shouted. Across the city, survivors replicated the trick. Stolen alien tech, old power lines, even car batteries. Anything that could channel energy became a weapon. The rebels called them lightning staves. The Empire called them a curse. Kai Chen watched the chaos from his bunker beneath Mount Rushmore. His laptop pinged with updates. A rebel fleet in Peru hijacked an Imperial cruiser. Farmers in Kansas ambushed a drone squad with homemade flamethrowers. A scientist in Tokyo reverse-engineered plasma rifles using parts from microwave ovens. Kai's fingers flew across the keyboard, hacking another satellite. He rerouted Imperial supply ships, sending them crashing into the ocean. But the real weapon was Lila's face. Every screen on Earth showed her image now, on walls, phones, even the Empire's own broadcasts. Her final words became a chant. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Kai added a twist. He uploaded a new video. Lila's sketchpad, its dragons and spaceships animated to life. The creatures flew across the screen, melting into real rebels mid-battle. The message: she drew the future. Now we fight for it. The video went viral. Even aliens watched, mesmerized. A warlord on Tatkar Prime smashed his holoscreen in frustration. Enough, he roared. Kill the humans. But his soldiers hesitated. One dropped his rifle. Why are we fighting? He asked. General Krell's temper snapped in Moscow. His troops were deserting. A squad of rebels, led by a grandmother wielding a laser knitting needle, had just ambushed his base. Now Krell stood in a ruined subway station, cornered by survivors. You killed my brother, growled a man holding a wrench. You bombed my school, spat a girl with soot-stained cheeks. Krell laughed. But it died when the man swung the wrench, cracking his helmet. As Krell fell, he saw the girl's shirt, a faded drawing of Lila's dragon, coiled around a planet. Emperor Varkos declared Earth a quarantine zone. Too late. Lila's image appeared on Coruscant's Capitol dome. Rebels hijacked the feed, replacing it with her face and a map of the galaxy. Red dots pulsed where rebellions ignited. Tatkar Prime, Neptune's moons, even the Empire's core worlds. The caption read, "You're wrong. We're everywhere." Riots erupted. Slaves tore off collars. Soldiers refused orders. A cyborg gambler on a luxury cruiser toasted Kai's broadcast. "To the kid," he said, raising his plasma drink. On Earth, the rebels regrouped. Priya Patel stood atop a bulldozer tank, rallying survivors in New York. "We're not hiding anymore," she said. "We take the fight to them." Marcus raised his lightning staff. "How?" Priya grinned. "We've got a plan." The plan was madness. A farmer in Kenya had stolen an Imperial dropship, crashing it near Nairobi. Its navigation system still worked. Kai hacked it, uploading coordinates to the Empire's nearest base, a fortress in the Amazon. "We fly it in," he said. "We crash it on their doorstep. We hit them where they're weakest." The rebels called it Operation Dragon's Breath. The Empire's counterattack failed spectacularly. General Krell's replacement, a nervous officer named Vex, ordered a drone strike on Nairobi. But the drones were hacked mid-flight, turning on their controllers. "Sabotage!" Vex screamed. Naira watched calmly. "No," she said. "They're choosing sides." As the drones bombed the Empire's own bases, rebels cheered. Amina uploaded a new video, footage of the attack, set to Lila's melody. The caption, "She lit the fuse. Now we blow." Emperor Varkos descended into paranoia. He banned holoscreens. He executed engineers. He even ordered his palace sealed, fearing spies. But at night he dreamed of Lila's face, her smirk, her words. One morning he awoke screaming, "She's in my head." Naira watched him crumble. She sent a final message to Earth. "We surrender." Kai's reply was colder than space. "No. You kneel." Years later, historians called it the spark. Not a weapon. Not a battle. A moment. When Lila Chen's death became more powerful than the Empire's fleets. When fear turned to fury, and fury lit the stars. On Earth, a statue rose in Central Park. A girl with a smirk, a sketchpad, and a glowing heart. Below it the words, "You're wrong." And across the galaxy, rebels whispered her name like a prayer. The Galactic Empire's final strike began with silence. No booming speeches, no flashy holoscreens. Just a single order from Emperor Varkos. Eradicate Earth. 300 star destroyers left Coruscant, their black hulls slicing through space like knives. Their mission? Drop a planet cracker bomb, a device designed to split Earth's crust like an eggshell. The Emperor didn't care if his soldiers died. He didn't care if rebels lived. He only wanted the girl's name scrubbed from history. But he'd already lost. Kai Chen watched the star destroyers on a stolen alien scanner. His hands shook. "They're coming," he muttered. Behind him, the bunker buzzed with rebels, engineers welding armor onto tractors, hackers rewriting Imperial codes, grandmothers knitting bombs. Priya Patel slammed a crate of lightning staves onto a table. "We fight," she said, "or we die." Marcus, the teenager who'd wielded the first stave, grinned. "Let him come." Kai's laptop pinged. A new message blinked on the screen. "They fear you. Use it." He frowned. The sender was anonymous, but the file attached was gold, a blueprint for a weapon his sister's dad had designed. "What is this?" Kai whispered. Priya leaned over his shoulder. "Looks like a signal booster." Marcus snatched the laptop. "Wait, if we amplify Lila's message, broadcast it planet-wide?" He trailed off, eyes widening. "It could short out their tech, Fry their ships. Kai's fingers flew across the keyboard. We need a tower. Something tall. Priya grinned. I know just the place. The Empire's fleet arrived at dawn. New York's skyline was gone, reduced to ash and twisted metal. But from the ruins rose one intact structure, the Empire State Building. Its spire jutted into the clouds like a spear, and at its peak, rebels scrambled to install the signal booster. Below, soldiers poured from dropships. General Krell led the charge, his horns gleaming. Burn it, he roared. Laser fire lit the air. Priya ducked behind a tank, hurling a grenade that exploded into a cloud of shrapnel. Marcus spun his lightning stave, zapping 2 soldiers mid-lunge. We're running. Out of time, Kai shouted. Above, the signal booster whirred to life. Across the galaxy, screens flickered, not with the Empire's propaganda. With Lila. Her face filled every hollow display, smiling, glowing, her voice soft but clear. You killed me, she said. But you made me stronger. The words pulsed with energy, a frequency only machines could hear. Imperial ships convulsed, engines died, weapons shorted. On Coruscant, Emperor Varkos screamed as his throne room plunged into darkness. What is this? Naira stared at the chaos on her tablet. Her message. It's in their code. Their tech can't fight it. She turned to the Emperor. She's not a rebel. She's a virus. Back on Earth, the signal hit the star. Destroyers. Pilots clawed at their consoles as systems crashed. One ship veered sideways, colliding with another. Explosions bloomed in the sky like fireworks. General Krell looked up, horror dawning. No. A rebel on the ground laughed. They're killing themselves. Priya grabbed Kai's arm. Do it. Finish it. Kai hit send. The signal surged. Emperor Varkos's war room dissolved into madness. Officers fled as lights exploded. Robots twitched, then turned on their masters. A cyborg general collapsed, screaming, "She's in my head." Naira stood calm, watching the Empire crumble. She opened a channel to Earth. We surrender. Kai's reply was icy. Too late. The final blow came from the unlikeliest place. The rebels' prisoners. Hundreds of Imperial soldiers had been captured over the months, locked in subway tunnels guarded by teenagers with baseball bats. Now as the signal spread, the guards dropped their weapons. A soldier named Jarek stepped forward, trembling. We don't want to fight anymore. A rebel girl handed him a lightning stave. Then fight with us. General Krell died in the rubble. His last sight was Lila's face, glowing from a cracked phone screen. Her words echoed. You're wrong. He tried to raise his blaster, but a farmer's pitchfork pierced his chest. The farmer spat. That's for my daughter. By nightfall, the Empire's fleet was scrap. Rebels danced on the wreckage. Priya hugged Marcus, laughing. Kai stared at his laptop, messages flooding in from across the galaxy. Rebel groups, on Tatkar Prime, Neptune, even Coruscant slums. They'd all risen. They're calling it the Spark, Priya said. Kai nodded. Lila's spark. Emperor Varkos didn't see the end. He locked himself in his palace, smashing hollow screens, tearing down banners. I am eternal, he roared. But his guards were gone, his advisors fled. Naira found him cowering in his throne room. It's over, she said. Varkos lunged, claws slashing. Naira didn't flinch. She pressed a button on her wrist. A beam of light shot out, vaporizing the Emperor mid-scream. Outside, the crowd cheered. The next morning, Earth broadcast a new message. No blood, no fire. Just Lila's sketchpad flipping through pages, dragons, spaceships. A girl with a smirk, holding a pencil like a sword. Her voice whispered, You thought we were weak. But ideas don't die. They spread. The screen faded to black. Then, 2 words. You're wrong. Years later, historians would debate what truly happened. Some said Lila's father had hidden ancient alien tech in her DNA. waiting for her death to activate it. Others claimed the galaxy itself had chosen her, a cosmic rebellion against tyranny. But the rebels knew the truth. It wasn't magic. It wasn't fate. It was fear. The Empire had built its reign on terror, believing no one could resist it. But when they killed a child on live TV, they gave humanity something worse than fear. They gave them rage. And rage, Kai always said, was the one weapon no empire could ever control. The dust hadn't settled in New York when the galaxy began to change. On Earth, rebels stumbled through the wreckage of the Empire's fleet. Smashed dropships littered the streets like broken toys. Soldiers surrendered, dropping rifles as grandmothers knitted them into ropes. Priya Patel stood atop a bulldozer tank shouting to a crowd of survivors, "We did it! We won!" But even as cheers erupted, Kai Chen stared at his laptop. The war wasn't over. Not yet, because the Empire was everywhere. On Coruscant, the capital of the galaxy, riots tore the city apart. Emperor Varkos's corpse still smoldered in his throne room, vaporized by Nyra's beam. Now the streets swarmed with aliens, slaves, rebels, even Imperial defectors. A cyborg gambler hacked a holoscreen, replacing it with Lila's face. She was right, he muttered, tears cutting through the grime on his face. Nearby, a warlord smashed a monument of the Emperor with his bare hands. "No more fear," he growled. Nyra watched from a rooftop, her silver skin glinting in the smoggy light. She opened a channel to Earth. "The galaxy's yours," she said. "What now?" Kai's reply was simple. "Rebuild." The Empire's collapse was faster than anyone expected. Without Varkos, its leaders turned on each other. Governors declared independence. Generals fled. Rebels hijacked star destroyers, turning them into shields for conquered worlds. Tatkar Prime, a former slave named Jarek, the same soldier who'd surrendered to Earth's rebels, led a mob to the governor's palace. "You killed my daughter," he roared, holding a lightning stave aloft. "Now we rule." But the real weapon wasn't lasers or staves. It was her. Lila Chen's message spread like wildfire. Her sketchpad became a holy text. Her face, a symbol. On Neptune's icy moons, miners etched her words into glaciers. "You're wrong." In the jungles of Yavin 4, a tribe of warriors painted her smirk on their shields. Even in the Empire's core worlds, children scrawled her phrase on school desks. The rebellion wasn't an army. It was a religion. Back on Earth, the rebels faced a new problem. What next? Priya argued for peace. "We've bled enough," she said, bandaging Marcus's wounded arm. Marcus disagreed. "If we stop now, someone else will rise to take Varkos's place." Kai paced, clutching his sister's sketchpad. "We don't need another war," he muttered. "We need a new story." So they told one. Earth's first broadcast as a free planet aired galaxy-wide. No violence, no speeches, just Lila's sketchpad flipping through pages, dragons, spaceships, a girl with a pencil drawing a forest of star destroyers hovering over Earth. Her voice whispered, "They thought we were weak, but ideas don't die. They grow." The screen faded. 2 words glowed, "You're wrong." Then came the invitation. "Join us, not as soldiers, as builders." Questioner, the galaxy answered. On Tatkar Prime, the warlord sent a message. "We'll tear down your walls, then build new ones together." On Neptune's moons, miners offered their ice for Earth's hospitals. Even ex-Imperial engineers defected, sharing secrets to fix Earth's power grids. But not everyone agreed. A splinter group of Imperial loyalists regrouped on a moon near Saturn. Their leader, a cyborg general named Vex, ranted about human filth and galactic purity. His soldiers rebuilt a star destroyer aiming it at Earth. Marcus grinned when he heard, "Let 'em come." The final battle wasn't a fight. Kai hacked the destroyer's systems, rerouting its engines. Priya sent a broadcast to its crew. "Your leaders lied. You don't have to die for them." Half the crew mutinied. The other half fled. When the ship landed in Nairobi, its soldiers handed Kai their rifles. "We're done," one muttered. Vex tried to kill himself, but Marcus stopped him. "No," the teen said, holding up his stave. "You'll live, and you'll see what we build." Years passed. Earth's scars healed. Forests grew where cities burned. The Empire's rubble became roads, homes, schools. In Central Park, a statue rose, a 17-year-old girl with a smirk, a sketchpad, and a glowing heart. Below her, the words, "You're wrong." The galaxy followed. New governments formed, not from fear, but from shared hope. Former slaves became leaders. Ex-soldiers planted trees. Even aliens who'd once cheered the Empire's cruelty now raised their kids with Lila's story. But the real change was quieter. In Nairobi, Amina Patel opened a clinic, teaching medicine to anyone who showed up. In Moscow, a grandmother named Elena ran a knitting circle that doubled as a bomb shelter. In New York, Kai ran for mayor, winning with a campaign slogan, "Listen, learn, build." And in a school rebuilt from imperial scrap, a teacher wrote Lila's name on a chalkboard. She wasn't a hero, the teacher said. She was a girl, but she refused to be afraid. And that changed everything. The end came slowly. No more wars, no more executions, no more holoscreens broadcasting death. The Empire's name faded, replaced by a new phrase. The spark. Some said the spark was Lila's message. Others said it was Earth's defiance. But the rebels knew the truth. The spark was everyone. Every person who chose to stand up. Every kid who whispered, "You're wrong." Every grandma with a knitting needle. Every farmer with a pitchfork. Every alien who saw a human and thought, "Maybe we're not so different." Kai stood on Mount Rushmore years later watching the stars. Marcus joined him, older now, with a wife and a daughter named Lila. "Do you think she'd be proud?" Marcus asked. Kai smiled. "She'd say we're still not done." Below them, Earth glowed, not with weapons but with light. Cities hummed. Wind turbines spun. Children played under banners with a single phrase. "You're wrong." Across the galaxy the same light spread, and somewhere in the dark between stars something ancient stirred again. Not a weapon. Not a god. Just the idea that no one has to kneel.